ways, and one of the quickest ways would be to use the command apt-get. And apt-get has many commands, but we're just gonna look at a few of them. Let me do a man page. And the ones we're interested in: upgrade, install. You can force installations. You can do verbose mode. You can remove. You can purge your repository sources. You can clean. And just to give you an example, you can update if you change your sources. I'm going to go over here, and if I had added repositories or changed things, I might want to refresh those things. So I would say sudo apt-get update, and that would update things. I could also do sudo apt-get. Wanted to get rid of some broken or loose packages, and there's clean. Excuse me, I'm at clean there. And I could also do auto remove, again, just to get rid of, free up some disk space. And I'm not doing so bad on my disk space, but anyway, just some of the different options. But what we're interested in is sudo apt-get install, and you could just pick a package. So this is a free open source astronomy software. I'm going to install Stellarium. It'll prompt me, do I want to install it? Yes. Go ahead and grab 46 megabytes of the... Okay, so that's probably one of the quickest ways. Now, of course, if you go to system, we'll do one with Synaptics as well. And Synaptic Package Manager is a graphical way to just do the same thing. And it's downloading, and downloading, and downloading. Okay, and there it is. And now it will simply add it to my menu structure. So again, there's Stellarium, and if I launch it, here it is, just some amateur astronomy software. And if I wanted, for some reason, if I wanted to remove that package from the command prompt, I would say sudo apt-get remove, and I don't want to remove it, but that's all I'd have to type, and that would remove that package. So that's one way to do it. A couple of other different ways. I was just looking at the wget command. It's just it will download a package, so it could be a tar or a zip package. If I did this, let me add sudo actually. The Kino is an open source free video editor, so sudo, you need to give it root privileges, and this would just download it to my current directory. Alright, so it's kind of a nice quick way to download something. And I'm just going to control-C, I'm going to stop that, but that's just to show you wget. I could do the same thing by opening up Synaptic, and sometimes you have choice overload with Linux. There's so many different ways to do things, and so many, it's you have so many options. I'm going to remove Kino, the free open source video editor, and this time I'm going to go to Synaptic and do the same thing. And Debian packages. Ubuntu is a Debian distribution, so you can install DEB files. The only thing you want to make sure is don't try to run apt-get and run Synaptic at the same time. They both use the same daemons and processes, and you'll encounter a lock file. There'll be a conflict. If you forget, no big deal. Just remember that if for some reason it's locked and you can't use it, you're probably running something from a command prompt that's interfering with Synaptic. Or if you're trying to run something from a command prompt, maybe you left Synaptic open. But just to show you, I'm going to look for Kino. And again, here it is, nonlinear editor for digital video data. I'm going to mark it for installation, and now we're just going to do the same thing graphically. I'm just going to click apply, and apply. Just thousands upon thousands of free applications out there, and they're all available via apt-get from the command line, or using the Synaptic Package Manager. Either way. Okay, here's Adobe's website, and let's say we're going to go, I wanted to go upgrade my Flash player. And I'm going to go here and say get Adobe Flash player, and their actual repository is here. And again, this is just apt-get, but this will kind of bring up a, an online version of apt-get or Synaptic. And in this case, I could select to use the repository. So I've already done this. I've already installed Adobe, but not any more difficult than using Macintosh or using Windows there. Um, just another way of using apt-get over the web. Another common thing you might do is install applications that are in the form of tarballs. Now tar is a huge command with lots and lots of options. If I were to bring it up, let's just bring up a man page on tar. And that's a whole other tutorial in and of itself. tar and CPIO, you can back up your entire system. You can restore. So it's a very complex, intricate, wonderful, powerful tool for archiving, for backing things up and restoring things. But that will be another tutorial completely on its own. However, just for the purpose of installing software, I ran into a situation. I installed the 64-bit version of Ubuntu because on this machine I have 7 gigabytes of memory. And running the 32-bit version, I can't really adjust past 3 gigabytes. I'd be wasting like 4 gigabytes of RAM if I didn't use the 64-bit version. I haven't really run into any issues yet. I've been able to find all of the software and things I like to use, except for this one application, Real Player. At this point, there's not really a lot of 64-bit support of it. There is no 64-bit support for Ubuntu. But if I had the 32-bit, yeah, I could just save the deb package. And once I had saved the deb package, I could use the command line tool dpackage, which is, let me go over here, and I just want to give myself permission. Now this won't actually work because I have the 64-bit version, and that's the 32-bit version. But just to show you the tool, dpackage, and there are many options I can install with the -i option, but I'll just use a wildcard there. And then let me sudo that. And then notice this message here, i36 doesn't match my system, and because I'm running 64-bit here. So it doesn't really support that. But I can still actually use the 32-bit version if I compile it from the source and download it. And that's what I did. So I just Googled around and I found the website for the source using the Helix community player. And you can locate that on Google. And then let me go into, I just made a folder here called Real Player. Use a wildcard. And notice that it's a tarball. See here the extension .tar, and this is a bzip. Bzip is sort of a compression tool, and there's also gzip, and you can gzip and you can gunzip or gunzip, and you can bzip and you can bunzip and tar. But basically, I can combine it all into one command, and I need to get out of Fedora mode and get into Ubuntu mode instead of using the su. But so sudo, and I'm going to use the tar command and -xvf. X to extract, V for verbose mode, and F to specify a file name. So commonly, I would use those 3 switches. And of course, that's a huge name, and I don't want to type the whole thing out, so I'm just going to wildcard it. And this will extract the contents of that tarball and archive. Okay? And then I'm going to list the contents, and particularly the one that I'm interested in is the binary file here, real play bin. And this looks like a soft link. Yeah, looks like a. Let's see here. Okay, no, that's just a file. It's not a link. But all right, so we've got a couple of files here, and what I want to do is I'm going to run the setup utility, which is the binary file. So sudo, and this is a security precaution, but when you install something from the command prompt, if I do this, it won't really find it. It says, but on the other hand, if I do this, // and then let me specify since there's also a real play in there. Okay, and that's just sort of a security precaution. And now I can actually launch and run real player here. Okay, and let me do the same thing here for real play. Okay, and real play here. So again, and I'm going to leave that there in that directory. And okay, now with the real player installed, we just need to configure it. And I don't know, if you're like me, by default I installed the Zine plugin in Firefox, which does, it plays a lot of streaming media and multimedia formats embedded in HTML web pages on the internet. However, you're going to have to switch it or set up the MIME type or file type association. So here I changed it to Real Play. Before it was the Zine plugin, and I just went here and I selected Use Other, and I browsed to my Real Player and I just selected Real Play. So I have to set that up for RM and RAM files for Real Media, and then I just want to test it out. And Real Networks keeps a they keep a test page out there for when you set it up. And so I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to grab this guy, and I just want to test out the player.
This clip is an example of Real Video 9. Depending on the link you clicked on, this video clip may be encoded.
So, that way I'm using the 32-bit version of the Real Player until they finish the 64-bit one. But that's just an example of some of the wonderful versatility of open source software and open architecture. If something doesn't exist, you can make it. A widget or a sprocket or a gadget or a gidget or you can modify it. You can rig it. You can make it fit. Make it do.